Hi, welcome to Natalie and Company. I am coming to you on the other side of a bad decision. So when I went to the library sale and I bought I know. Now believe me, I was disappointed in myself too. But this haul is really good. Like in a way that I feel like I will 99% read everything that I bought here quite easily. I even bought some books that I had never heard of, but that I am definitely 100% interested in. And so as a farewell to buying books, here is my final book haul for the year. I bought these at my local library book sale where hardbacks are $3 and paperbacks are $2. And so for all 21 of these books, I spent $55, which is obviously a great deal, especially when you see what I've got here, because when you are in the need of some books, go and look for your local library. Go and find your local library, because the books are always going to be the cheapest there. You're supporting your local community by doing so. You don't have to spend $1 billion for a book. I've bought so many of my books at these library sales, and it's part of the reason why I have such a huge collection, because I just keep finding wonderful gems for $2 or $3, and so how can I literally say no? So let me show you what I've got. First, let's start with David Mitchell. So if you've been watching my vlogs, I've been reading Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell for the past 3 months. It's conjoined into separate little sections, and so between every section I've been putting it down and picking up other books, but I've been immensely enjoying it, so much so that I'm almost certain that I will love the rest of his writing. I've also read Slate House by him. I got a beautiful yellow cover of Slate House. I have a different cover, I think, but I'm gonna get rid of that one, and this is gonna be the one on my shelf. So good, so good. Beyond that, I also got 3 other David Mitchell books, 2 in hardback, 1 in paperback. They're all stunning. So we have The Bone Clocks, which is actually the original story for Slate House, and Slate House is like an extra short story that is in addition to the Bone Clocks. We have The Thousand Autumns of Jacob Dezote, which I love this cover, and I've been wanting this cover forever. And Utopia Avenue, which I also love this cover. It's beautiful. And it just feels so nice to have some hardcover David Mitchell, because I felt like my floppy paperback Cloud Atlas was such like a flimsy thing. His books feel like they need a little more support because they're so much. I have no idea what any of these are about, but I've really enjoyed Cloud Atlas. Okay, so this one is about Jacob Dezote, and he is a merchant for the Dutch East Indies. He travels all the way out to Nagasaki, and it is a series of unfortunate events, basically, that he goes through. And The Bone Clocks is about a little girl who has psychic powers, ? And the mystery that she goes throughout her life to solve in this surreal, invisible war on the margins of our world. I feel like sometimes when you talk about the writings of an author, everything's so similar, or there's like some type of consistency between the different things that they've written. But David Mitchell just has such an array of stories on his plate that it's admirable, and I can't wait to see what another one of his stories has in store for me. Let's do the rest of the paperbacks. We have The Fate of the Tierling, which I bought because I own the first 2. And this is a matching copy. Yay! I haven't managed to read this series yet, but The Fate of the Tierling is the 3rd book in the Queen of the Tierling series. Fairies, magic, kings, queens, you know, all of the standard stuff there. I now have them all. And then the next one I have is The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefteri, about a beekeeper in Aleppo when Syria goes into war. So it's a historical fiction. The author's own parents were from Cyprus, or immigrants to the UK, I believe. I have heard a lot of heartbreaking things like this about this one. I've heard it's similar to The Stationery Shop in that it's romance about war, but I've heard that it's really beautiful, and I've been really trying to learn more about the history of the Middle East and the struggles that all of those people have gone through due to, you know, the intervention of the United States, among other things. I know it's gonna be sad. It does sound really beautiful. Next, this was one of the books that I was looking for, and it goes to show that you can look for books and still find them even at the library book sale. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while because I heard that it's a story about friendship, but it's also a mystery. It's also a mystery part really intrigued me. I heard that a lot of people really enjoyed this. I found what I was looking for. Graceling is the next one. I have heard pretty okay things about this series, and I've been kind of wanting to get back into fantasy more because I think the last couple of years I've been a little bit lackluster on fantasy. I've been exploring other genres. This is another fairy, magic, kings, queens, that kind of vibe. I'll let you know more when I know more. This next one is one that I've actually never heard of before, so let me know if you've heard of it and if it was any good, because I picked it up mostly for the cover. This is Nicholas and the Pantheon Trials, which also note, one of my favorite things in stories are trials, are like competitions, you know, Goblet of Fire, like things like that. Like, oh, I love stuff like that, and I love watching, you know, like the play-by-play of competitions like that in stories. So this is about Nicholas, who goes through the Pantheon Trials of the Norse gods. It sounded like it was exactly my type of book, so if you have ever heard of this, it's by Dallas Graham, let me know. Okay, we're into the hardcover now. I probably don't need to explain to you why I picked this book up, but I've never read a Sally Rooney, so I picked it up because I'm curious. I do like character-driven books, but I just feel like everybody is either loves her or hates her so much, and so I'm so curious to see which side of the argument that I will be on eventually. I also own Beautiful World, Where Are You? But I feel like everybody says that this is the best one to pick up first, so... This next one I've already read, but I picked it up because I did enjoy it. It's The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I read The Paris Apartment and The Guest List. I did like The Paris Apartment more, but The Guest List is what I found at the sale, so that's the one that I picked up. And I picked this up more as an addition to my library that I don't have to read, because I've been trying to do that more than picking up books that I haven't read, and it's actually been working. Or it's felt like it's been making me feel better, which is the important part. I really enjoyed The Guest List when I read it. Okay, this one I'm really excited about because I wasn't expecting to find it, but I found The Subtle Knife, which is the second book to The Golden Compass, but specifically is the same copy as my Golden Compass that I have, and I was not expecting. It's the deluxe 10th anniversary edition, and so now they have a friend. Next is a classic that I have never picked up before. Despite my love for fantasy, I've never picked it up. I think because when it was popular, I was too young and I was like, that book is too big for me. Is Aragon. I had a friend recently like blow through all 4 of them, and she really, really, really enjoyed them and recommended them. And I was like, oh man, that sounds just so classic. Just, you know, classic dragons. And I've been looking for a copy, especially like in a little free library. And I've only ever been finding like the second and the third one, but then they had the first one and in lovely condition at the library sale. Ew, it has deckled edges. I hate deckled edges. They're stupid. They're like one of my least favorite book designs because like they're so annoying. This is The Prisoner of Heaven by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I read The Shadow of the Wind last year and I really, really loved it, and I have the second one. This series is a series about a hidden and secret library in which the people who inherit the library have the opportunity to go and pick out one singular book from the library to be their own and to protect and take care of for the rest of their life. The first one I really enjoyed. I really thought was just so fun, and it made some important and really strong comments about war and what war does to knowledge and things like that. So apparently the second one is its own individual story, and then this one, The Prisoner of Heaven, is the first one and the second one woven together for a final conclusion. This one will go nicely with my I should just go get that. Damn it. The copy of the first one, Shadow of the Wind, that I have is part of a Penguin drop cap collection, which there's not going to be an edition for the second and the third of this one because it's the Penguin collection. But I did find The Angel's Game in this stunning cover, so I think that these two will look very nicely together. Oh, and they're the same size and everything. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for. That is Carlos Ruiz Zafón's works. Next, as we've all seen the movie, I've never read the book, or Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I love, love, love that movie because I have a sister, and the sisters always just reminded me of us. And I used to watch it with my mom and my grandmother. It's just such a women's movie. It's just filled with such like femininity, like love, and I really appreciate that. So I have been wanting to see if the book holds up. I'll probably wait to read this until next Halloween though, especially because we watched the movie this Halloween. Okay, next we have the two books that I've never heard of before, but that I picked up because they really seemed interesting and like they were right down my alley. First we have Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Byrne. First of all, I love the cover. It is a historical fiction about a murder in the South, and so it's like a commentary on, and it just seems really interesting. And the next that we have is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. This is about a bookstore in which the most annoying customer passes away and then haunts the bookstore after her passing, and I just thought that was such a unique premise. I'm so intrigued to read this one. Yeah, it definitely caught my eye and I'm looking forward. I'm really excited. It's been a long time since I've picked up books that I've never heard of, especially because I'm trying to read on my whole library. But fucking Deckled Edges again. Fuck those bitches. Next, I'm excited for this one especially because this book is literally stunning. Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I heard great things about this book. Seems like my kind of thing. About children on the cusp of adulthood in worlds in peril who find resilience, hope, and a book. Ah, yay! I love books about books. And lastly, but definitely not least, I'm very excited. I found As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow in hardback, As She Deserves. I've never read this, but everything that I've heard about it is that it is also like The Beekeeper of Aleppo and The Stationery Shop, in that it's very, very sad historical fiction about the Middle East. I've heard that this is one of the saddest ones, but I've also heard the best things about it, in that the writing is wonderful. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Kato. This book is so beautiful. Okay guys, okay guys, okay guys, okay guys, that is it. That is everything that I have for you today, and I hope that you guys have a good night, good evening, good morning, goodbye.